Hi there, in this complete beginner's guitar tutorial you're going to get 3 complete lessons on open minor chords, and the chords that you're going to look at are E minor, A minor and D minor. Now these are tutorials that I have uploaded before, but now I've put them all together to make it a little easier for you to learn. If you have any questions, any queries, please feel free to leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching. In this lesson for beginner guitarists, I'm going to show you how to play an open A minor chord, and I'm also going to give you a little bit of theory too, so stick around. The A minor chord uses 3 fingers, the first finger, the second finger and the third finger. And the first finger goes on the first fret of the B string, the second string. The second finger goes on the 4th string at the 2nd fret. And then this finger here, the third finger, tucks in behind that finger at the same fret, but on the G or the 3rd string. And we get this really lovely minor chord sound. Beautiful sound. Now changing from this chord to other chords such as the C chord is pretty easy. For example, going to C, we're going to lift up this finger here and we're going to place it right there at the 3rd fret of the 5th string or A string. And you can immediately hear the change. A minor, C. Another simple change is from A minor to E major. Really simple, because the whole thing you're going to lift up and then move it that way, one string. And you can see in the chord diagram, A minor, E major. Going from A minor to the A major chord is a piece of cake. All we're going to do, there's your A minor, we're going to lift up this first finger here and we're going to stick the 4th finger in behind the 3rd finger like so there. And again you can immediately hear the change from minor to major. Minor, so that sad to happy sound. Okay, just a little bit of theory on how to make an A minor chord. Now there's an A minor scale there, you'll see the notes there. And to make a chord we just need 3 notes. And the notes that we need are the first note, which is an A, the 3rd note, which is a C, and the 5th note, which is an E. And if you look on the guitar here, let's find the triad. So we've got the A note, which is the 2nd fret of the G string. We've got the C note, which is the 1st fret of the B string, and then the top E string. Oh, there you go. And so that's our triad. But there are other notes that we're playing. We're also playing here on the 4th string, the D string at the 2nd fret. This is also an E, like the top string. And the 5th string here, this open string here, is an A. Just like here on the 2nd fret of the G. So those are octaves. Now technically we could play this string here, the low E string, as well. You'll notice that in the chord diagram there is an X over it. Usually we just play the top 5 strings, with the 5th string being the low A note, giving us kind of the bass note, the root note. But it's not wrong to play all 6 strings, but for me it sounds a bit murky, a bit muddy. If you're getting value out of this, please hit the like button and the subscribe button and press that notification bell for more content just like this. In this beginner's guitar lesson, I'm going to show you 3 things. I'm going to show you how to play an open D minor chord, the way I play it. I'm going to give you a little bit of theory, and then at the end I'm going to show you an alternative way of playing this open D minor chord. So stick around. The open D minor chord uses 3 fingers. It uses the 1st, 3rd and 4th fingers. That's the way I play it. Have a look at this. I've got the 1st finger on the 1st fret
of the top E string. I've got the second finger on the second fret of the G or third string. And then finally I've got the little finger here on the third fret of the B string. And if you look at the diagram, you'll see that we play the top 4 strings. There's an X over the 5th and the 6th. And we have that nice melancholic sound there. Beautiful little sound. The great thing about using this fingering is how we can change quite easily to one of the more difficult basic chords, which is the F major. And you'll see from the D minor here to the F, this finger is going to come off. This finger here, the third finger, is going to go onto the third fret of the D string. And then this finger here has to kind of flatten those top 2 strings. And we get that chord there. And again, we're only playing the top strings, the top 4 strings. So from there to there. And you've got this second finger here anchoring you on the fretboard, keeping you there. So just a little bit of theory about the D minor chord. Now to make up a minor chord we need 3 notes, and the 3 notes for the D minor chord come from the D minor scale, which you'll see just there. And the 3 notes we need are the first, the third note and the 5th note of the scale. So that's the D, the F and the A, those 3 notes. So let's find those notes on the guitar. And if we put the D minor chord back on, and we're playing the top 4 strings. This first note here is the D. There's a D. The second fret of the G string is the A. Now here we have the 4th finger. Now that's not actually playing an F, that's playing a D. So that on the open string and are the same note. So these 2, same note. So one last finger there, the 1st fret of the top E string, that is the F. So even though the notes on the guitar are not in the same order, it's still the same chord, because we have D, we have an F and we have an A, just not in the same way that it is in that picture there. If you're getting value out of this, please hit the like button, the subscribe button and press the notification bell so that you get more content like this. So I mentioned at the beginning that there is an alternative way of playing this, and we're still going to use 3 fingers, but we're not going to use the 1st, the 3rd and the 4th, but we're going to use the 1st, the 2nd and the 3rd. The 1st finger is going to go on the same fret on the E string, the 1st fret. The 2nd finger is going to do the same again. It's going to go on the 2nd fret of the G, but instead of using the 4th finger here, like the way I prefer to do it, we're going to use the 3rd finger. And it's going to go like so. So that's an alternative way, and you know, if you have trouble using the little finger, then definitely go for the alternative way. So for beginner guitarists, there are so many chords to learn, which makes it pretty hard to remember them all. So I would recommend having one of these, a guitar chord book. I think they're a quicker reference than going to your phone or going online and checking, especially if your internet goes down as often as mine does. How are you playing your D minor chord? Are you playing it the way I play it, with the 1st finger, the 2nd and the 4th? Or are you playing it using the 1st, 2nd and 3rd? Let me know in the comments. In this Guitar for Beginners lesson, I'm going to show you 3 things. I'm going to show you how to play an open E minor chord. I'm going to give you a little bit of theory, and I'm going to give you an alternative as well, so stick around to the end. The open E minor chord uses 2 fingers, and the way I play it, it uses the 2nd finger, oops, and the 3rd finger. And if you look at the chord chart up there, you'll see the position of the fingers too. And I play it like so. I've got the 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, and I've got the 3rd finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, or the 4th string. It sounds like this. It's a lovely sound there, nice minor chord sound. And the good thing about this particular shape is that it's very easy to change from E minor to A minor. Back again, E minor to A minor. It's also very, very easy to go from E minor to E major. There's your E minor chord, and then that first finger comes on to the first fret of the G and brightens up the sound. Now, a little bit of theory with this minor chord. In general, a chord uses 3 notes, whether it's minor or major. And if you look at the scale there, that's E minor. And to make a minor chord, an E minor chord, we use the first note, the third note, and the fifth note. We've got an E, G, and B. So looking at it on the guitar, it's the 4th string, the D string, at the 2nd fret, which has an E, the open G string, and the open B. That's our 3 notes, or triad. But of course, on the guitar, we can play, with this chord, we can play all 6 strings because they all sound pretty good. So just a little bit of theory there for you. If you're getting value out of this, hit the like button and the subscribe button, and don't forget to press that little bell that goes ding 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 for notifications for future content just like this one. Okay, here's an alternative version of the E minor chord like I mentioned at the beginning, and instead of using the 2nd and 3rd fingers, we're going to be using the 1st and 2nd fingers like so. They're at the same fret, so you've got the 1st finger now on the 2nd fret of the A or 5th string, and you've got the 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string or the D string. And of course, you play exactly the same, and it sounds exactly the same. I prefer it the other way because it's much easier to go from E minor to E or E minor to A minor. The other thing I find is that the 1st finger and the 2nd finger feel like they have to press a little bit harder because there's not as much strength in those fingers, whereas using these 2 fingers, the 2nd finger and the 3rd finger, I feel like I'm much stronger. I feel like I'm Superman. Remembering chords can be pretty difficult when you're a beginner guitarist, so I always recommend having one of these, a guitar chord book, because I think they're a much better and a much quicker reference than checking on the internet and checking on your phone, especially if the internet's down. So have one of these on you. Brilliant things. Let me know in the comments which version you use at the moment. Do you use the way I play it, or do you play it with the 1st and the 2nd fingers? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.